Welcome to this collaboration with Amatruda La Carta di Amalfi. Hi, my name is Amalia and I am a watercolor artist. For this project we will use Amatruda La Carta di Amalfi watercolor paper. It is 100% cotton, cold pressed, smooth surface ivory color. The watercolor pad comes with an elastic band, easy to remove to take the loose sheets. The paper has beautiful natural edges and feels soft and smooth to the touch. I use Amatruda watercolor paper for many of my botanical illustrations. Today we will paint Hydrangea's little flowers. Materials we will need for this project: any paper for sketching, graphite and eraser, watercolor tubes or pans. Colors are violet, cobalt blue or ultramarine blue if you don't have, opera rose and burnt sienna. 3 synthetic brushes. I'm using number 6, 4 and 50 for very thin lines, especially for the veins. 2 jars with clean water, mixing palette, kitchen paper, and paper for testing our colors. First, I need to briefly understand the shape of the hydrangea flower. It has a round or oval shape. We will paint the little flowers inside, which are round too. In this case, they have 5 petals. Drawing lines that intersect at the center help to understand where the petals are placed. Important for me is to draw the center of the flower. It has the shape of a 4-petal flower with 7 stamens. Now I can draw the petals. I'm moving fast forward on this part. I use a jar or compass to draw the circle. Then I divide it in segments like we did before, and place each element on its right position. Now I feel confident to start the project on my Amatruda watercolor paper. But first I need to define my watercolor palette. I need 3 values of pink, a dark, middle and light. By mixing violet with opera rose, I can obtain the color I need. The more water I add to the mix, the lighter it will be. Next, I am mixing cobalt blue with burnt sienna to obtain a basic gray, to which I will add my pink mixture for the shades in the petals. Shadows are extremely important to create depth. Take time to explore the right shade for the composition. It's also fun. Basics when applying watercolor. Wet on wet technique. The paper is wet with water and the brush is loaded with pigment and water. Too much water on one or both sides is difficult to control. Wet on dry technique. The paper is dry and the brush is loaded with pigment and water. Removing with a clean brush and no excess of water, I can easily remove partially or all the color I applied. Now we are ready to start our project. The sketch is displayed on the upper left side. I'm using my Amatruda watercolor paper and the flowers are sketched waiting for the watercolors. Now I'm applying the wet on wet technique with my number 6 brush and use number 4 for applying the color. Loading my number 4 brush with lightest pink color and applying it to the damped area. I am leaving some areas untouched to preserve the white of the paper. I'm repeating the process on all petals. Since the mixture is very light, we will take care of the center of the flower later on. Tip: wait until the color dries or paint opposite to avoid the color leaking and spoiling your recent wash. I am now applying a light pink gray tone to the borders of this petal. We need light shadows to create dimension. Apply with moderation in some areas, preserving always the pink and white spaces. Now I will continue finishing the first wash on this flower. Now that I have the first layer complete, I can work areas with my middle pink color. With my number 5/0 brush, I am defining the center of my flower. For reference, use your sketch, it will help you remember the shape. The petals have some blemishes that I will apply with burnt sienna and a very dry brush. For the veins, I use my 05 brush and trace uneven lines. In some areas, I'm adding pure opera rose. Here I'm playing with colors and intensity, adding shadows where needed to create depth and dimension. adding cobalt blue in some corners to help the flower pop out of the paper. Give yourself some time to decide if your work needs some adjustments or not. It is always easier to add rather than remove. I think my Hydrangea little flowers are ready, so I'm going to stop painting now. Hi, I'm Amalia. I hope you enjoyed this watercolor tutorial in collaboration with Amalia. If you would like to know more about me, you can find me under Watercoloramalia in Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.